Hey, it's Larry coming at you. I just thought I'd share this pretty cool Claude Code skill I created, and I'm working towards something. So this skill is actually for my newsletter. So I write a newsletter every week, and I create an image for it. I have an AI tool for the research, and then I put it into Claude to help me write it, and then we put it into the image is created from the article content as well. So I have an article AI image creator that I've created, and then now I'm in the process of creating this tool that takes the article and the image and posts it directly to my newsletter hosting, which is Beehiiv. If you're not familiar with Beehiiv, I'll put a link in the comments or in the notes here so that you can go get a Beehiiv. They basically, you can get paid to have a newsletter, and it's not like they're charging anybody for it. So anyway, it's really cool. You had to check it out. But this is about this Claude skill, and so as you can see, the screen it's brought up, and all I will do is I'm going to say publish my latest newsletter, and it knows because I already have it I put it into the folder. So this should know to pull that skill called the Beehiiv skill, and if it doesn't, I may have to tell it to go ahead and use the Beehiiv skill because I called it that. So you'll see it's going to start talking. Okay, loaded the skill, and we're just going to let it run and let you watch it here, and I'll comment through it somewhat. It does take a little bit of time because what you think about it, it's doing a lot of work. And you'll actually see the browser open up because in order for it to use Beehiiv, it needs to log in, and it doesn't do that well without help sometimes. So rather than have it get stuck by doing it what they call headless without a browser opening, it goes ahead and says, well, let's just go open the browser, and that way if I do get stuck, then user intervention can fix that. Okay, so Claude Code is doing its thing here. If you're not familiar with Claude Code, it's like the same thing as a Claude. Well, it's the same type of concept, rather, about being able to talk to it like you would ChatGPT or Claude, but it's Claude Code, so it's actually doing code in the background, but you don't ever have to write the code. Now, it sometimes will ask you questions that you may not know the answers to, but all you have to do is take that information and ask it, hey, what do you mean by this? Or I often will screenshot the page here just like it's here and say, you asked this, I don't understand that. Can you go into further detail about this part of it? And where would I find that? Is that how would I do that? Okay, so now you can see it's going to ask me. It found the draft and it found the thumbnail. Before they publish it, it's going to ask me to schedule the time, and it's also making sure that the thumbnail is the right one. So I'm going to schedule it. So I'm going to say today, so it'll know what today is at 12:45 p.m. Yes, that is the correct image. Okay, and so now it's going to go and execute on that since it has verified what article and what image. And so also you'll notice at the underneath it says open 4.6 and it has a graph there, or a status thing, and what I am doing there is that is the context window, which is 200,000 tokens, and you can see it's opening up a browser now, but that context window, if it gets over 50%, it starts to get a little unreliable, and so I will typically compact it or clear it and start a new one, new session, so that will have good context. Okay, so it's opening this up, and you can see here that my my window is it's all, this is opening the dashboard and it's creating this, and so now it's looking and making sure that it's got the buttons. So it's looking for the buttons. It's finding the draft. So yeah, so this is actually what it's actually doing screenshots of this to make sure it's looking for the right things, and then it is clicking the button. So this is a user interface skill, because the API to this particular software, Beehiiv, is not available to being able to post into it, or if it is, I haven't gotten it yet. I've looked for it and couldn't find it. So someone may correct me and say, hey, there is an API, which is fantastic. I just rewrite this with the API. But this is still useful to be able to tell you, show you, that this is able to do it without that. And I'm going to put this window over here so that you actually can still see that it's, that it's actually talking and doing stuff here. So it's telling me. It's very helpful to watch it do this. So okay, see, it's dashboard's loaded, session is valid. Let me create a new post. It's waiting, searching it's reading patterns. So when it says reading patterns, it's typically looking at the screenshots and identifying what to do next on the browser. And so we're just going to wait for it and do its thing. Yeah, so okay, so you can see there it searched the pattern, it found the blank document, it knows what to do, clicks it. Okay, now it sees it's going to do another screenshot to identify a pattern and find which buttons to click next. Okay, so it took another screenshot. You may see what are errors and warnings, but it clears those, it deals with those. We don't have to deal with that. And as this thing runs more, it'll actually get better. So it'll continue to correct the things that it does wrong and put that in its skill. So it says it can see the title field, and now it's pasted it. Okay, now it's going to fill in the, I think actually, yeah, it's going to do the content now. You'll also see that there's a add subtitle and then the thumbnail, and it also has a subject line. And in the skill, I actually asked I told it to create the subtitle, or the preview text rather, I should say, is what it is, the preview text, not the subtitle. But it'll create some things on its own. It's actually going to go and look at the article and write it itself. So right now it's actually though preparing the HTML and so that it can paste it in here correctly. When I created the article in the first place, it has markup language in it so that it actually knows what to bold and that sort of thing. So it's actually not creating the format. It's just interpreting that markup language into the bolds and the lines and those sort of things that were already done. And even that, I didn't create that markup, but when I did used AI to create the article, I wrote these these parts of things, and then said, okay, AI, create the article with my thoughts, and then we go back and forth and refine it. But it's actually doing that markup in there so that it knows, okay, this is a title, this is a paragraph. All of that is done on the fly. And now you can see here, so you can see the lines, you can see that it's capitalized. I'll scroll up so you can see some of it here. Okay, and now it's verifying that the content is pasted, and so now we'll see what it's going to do next. So okay, click choose file, so it's going and actually going to find that file, which is having some errors, but it's it'll get it. Oh, it's going to reopen the browser because I moved it. If I hadn't moved it, it would have probably been. It would have found it fine. But because I scrolled back up, it had some difficulty finding and confirming that. So it's going to go confirm that session and navigate back to that post, which is a little bit of unnecessary time, but is what it is. So, okay. And so you may be a lot faster to write. It would be faster for me to just go and do this. The ultimate goal here, though, is to automate processes so that I can start them and not have to go and do them. So in this case, I could be, for example, not even in the room. It would do all these things and I could come back and make sure that it had done it correctly. Or if I have done it often enough that I can trust it, then I will bypass the final permissions here at the very end, because I have it at the end of this skill actually ask me, are you ready to schedule it? Or do you want to confirm that? And I give it the approval, say yes. So you can see here it's actually opening the thumbnail upload tool there, and so it should be uploading this image. We'll see if it actually can do it. It's done it before, so hopefully it should do it again. There we go. It says let me click that, and there you go. It's uploaded it. Now this was the last edition was to make sure that that image is visible, so that icon to the left of it, I'm interested to see if it'll actually click that icon to give it visibility. Not the end of the world if it's not. I just have to go back and correct it, because when I corrected it last time I didn't have the browser open, so it could not see it. But let's see. Okay, so it's telling me all the things it's done. There it is. It's clicking the eye to enable visibility. Show at the top of web post. Okay, so it didn't do that. So that is something I'll have to correct, I think, unless it did and I couldn't tell. Because it may, yeah, now let me navigate to. Okay, so the enabling likes and comments is in the wrong place as well, because I think it'll have to get past this. There it is. So, okay, so let's see if it does it. So what I'm looking for it to do is actually click that toggle switch, but it didn't yet. So we'll see if those are two things I'll need to change. So when you're creating a skill, actually it didn't, so I'm going to have to fix that. So when you create a skill, there's a skill creator tool that it walks you through it, and everything had worked fine. In fact, we're still doing fine to post it and everything. But those two last editions I had closed the browser, and so the skill creator tool wasn't able to correctly identify all the steps required. So it is not actually the skill creator's fault. It's my fault because I closed it before I'd made those changes. And it did say you probably should open it and let me do it, but I said just go ahead and write it in there. And it did identify it did click the icon, but it just didn't hit the next little button. And then it was on the wrong page. So I think that's something that when you're building these skills, especially when it's using the UI, then you want to be sure that that skill, when you run it that first time and it finds those problems, leave the browser open so that it can then go back and do the changes you are asking of it, and looking at, while it's actually looking at the browser. So that is a lesson learned for me. Okay, now let's see what else it's saying. Okay, so it's still doing some things. It's got the final check there. Okay, want me to click publish now, confirm background comment. Okay, so stand by for going ahead to click publish. So I can hit publish, and it should finish. There we go. Okay, and at this point I could tell it to go do more, setting up to go and actually publish to other accounts and everything, but at this point it's actually done, and it closed the browser and it's done. So that is it. Now, like I said, I'm working towards a full-blown automation here, and it's giving me some feedback here saying that it's done. This is what I've done, which is nice. The overall object of what I'm doing here is, now that I've have this skill that is able to pull the newsletter from the folder, pull the image that matches that newsletter from another folder, go and post it. Once I get this completely refined and done, then I'm going to take my post process and connect it to the pre-process. So I'll actually just be able to say, create me a newsletter about this topic, and here's my thoughts on the subject. Make it for Friday the, in this case the 13th. Wow, Friday the 13th. And it should be able to just run on its own, and then go create the image itself, because I have an AI Studio creator that I use, and so it'll actually go to that and create it. Now I may just make that a Nana Banana actual call, so that it's not actually having an interface with another tool, but that way it can just go and come back. But that really is dependent on, I can't remember if I have a Nana Banana skill or if there's one that's pre-made that I can use. But again, that I'm automating it where I can do it in one click and be able to give it some parameter like the topic and my thoughts on it, and then have it do it all itself. At that point, then creating newsletter becomes much easier and quicker. So where I have been doing it weekly, I may change it to daily, because things are changing daily, and I have things to talk about every day. It's just the process is somewhat difficult. So the other thing is my phone. So I also I've hooked up the Claude Code. I have the executive assistant, which you can see here says executive assistant on there, and there are parts of mine that are executive assistant and parts of it that's coding. But the executive assistant in this case, that's his job, and I have my Telegram app set up so that I can talk to my Claude instance as long as it's running on my computer, which I leave it running, and then it's able to do those functions via my Telegram. So anyway, I thought you might find this interesting. If you'd like to set something up like this, or if this gives you the idea that reveals the idea that, hey, there are many things that are automatable, and really any standard operating procedure a business has, then we can likely put together something that makes the job and process more efficient, better, and this is what's changing business today, and it's absolutely amazing. So thanks for watching, and if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe and check us out at internetmedianow.com.